good to see you.
Hi Rebecca, nice to be here.
Thanks so much for agreeing to do this interview with us. I'll get straight into the first question. Brabners achieved double-digit growth last year, which is an amazing achievement. And I've heard you and members of the team talking about purpose-led growth. What does that mean for you?
Yeah, so we're really pleased we've now managed to achieve 5 years of consecutive profitable growth. And for us at Brabners, we're driven by a very clear sense of purpose, and that purpose is that we believe and we want to demonstrate that business can bring about positive change. Business isn't necessarily the problem, it can be part of the answer. So we have a strategy that's based upon purpose-led growth and value-driven efficiency. And for us, it's really about having growth that's long-term, profitable, sustainable growth, and not chasing growth for growth's sake.
Yeah, no, definitely. And also, Brabners has recently been recognised as B-Corp, joining other purpose-driven companies like Patagonia and Ben & Jerry's. So congratulations on that. Could you tell me a bit more about what that means?
Yeah, so it was a long drawn-out process. It's a pretty rigorous assessment, as it should be. But we were really pleased to join the B-Corp movement when we were certified last year. At the time, we were the first law firm outside of London, and at the time, the largest law firm in the UK to achieve that. And for us, really, it means quite a lot in terms of accountability and really demonstrating through action, not just words, that sense of purpose I talked about. So it manifests itself in a few different ways. Firstly, it's about recognising the bottom line isn't just about profit, it's equally about people and planet. And it's trying to demonstrate in a way that's independently verified and certified that we meet social and environmental credentials and standards.
Yeah, so it's all about looking at the bigger picture, isn't it? And what made you decide to apply to become B Corp, and how has that accreditation impacted the firm?
Well, we decided, as touched upon before, it was a case of not just talking the talk and actually walking the walk and demonstrating through action that what we say we do and what we want to do is backed up, and we can sort of evidence that. And really, it's about being accountable, and it's a real privilege to achieve that status. But with that opportunity also comes responsibility. And in terms of how it's been embraced, I think there's a sense of pride within the firm, a lot of satisfaction. People are really pleased and have engaged with the B Corp and what it means. And they're really excited about what we can do on the back of it. As I said, I think it does open up opportunities. We're now part of a collective of, I think, 6,500 B Corps worldwide. But we recognise that with that comes responsibility. We'll be recertified every 3 years. So we don't just see this as a sort of tick box exercise. It's very much about stepping up to the mark, and now from here on in, being held accountable and ensuring that we carry on doing what we're doing. But we're happy that I think it does demonstrate we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. And again, amazing achievement. So well done.
Thank you.
In the theme of congratulations, Brabners has just won Innovative Law Firm of the Year and Technology, Media and Telecoms Team of the Year at the Legal 500 Northern Powerhouse Awards, which is fantastic. Why is innovation so important to Brabners?
Yeah, and that was an interesting award because actually when most people think innovation, they naturally think about technology. And technology is probably the obvious example of innovation, but for us it goes far beyond just technology and IT systems. That's important, but for us, which I suspect is perhaps why we won the award, it's about demonstrating what else we can do. It comes back to our sense of purpose and demonstrating that business can be a force for good. So yes, we're a law firm, yes, we're a business, we want to be profitable, but the question is then, for what purpose? And we take as much satisfaction beyond doing a good job for our clients, looking after our people, being a good member of the communities we serve, and well, what else can we do over and above? So things like initiatives around the Peatland Restoration Project, setting up bursaries for disadvantaged youngsters who need financial support to enter law, funding our own charitable foundation. For us, that's another demonstration of trying to be a bit more innovative rather than just being a law firm for law firm's sake.
Yeah, definitely.
Another way in which I'd maybe demonstrate us being a little bit different than other full-service law firms is the way we define success. So we really define success in 3 different ways upon which we place equal importance. So firstly, business performance. So we measure our business performance by 5 S's. It's about satisfying clients, building a strong brand, sustainable revenue growth, superior financial performance, and standing out as an employer of choice. But then equally, we have our 3 key pillars of innovation, sustainability, and equality, diversity, and inclusion that we measure ourselves against. And then finally, it's about being true to ourselves. It's about being a successful business, but remaining true to our values and our behaviours, which really defines our culture. So that's about being ambitious, unashamedly so, but at the same time showing you care, standing together and doing what's right.
At the end of last year, you moved into this very swanky office in Barbroley Square in Manchester, and you also opened a new office in Leeds too. What does that mean for the direction of the business?
Yeah, so opening Leeds is a really important step forward and entering the Yorkshire market. There's a whole host of reasons for taking that next step, and it was an obvious next natural step for us. It gives us another engine room, another source for potential growth. It broadens our geographical base. And I think there was also an element of demonstrating that, you know, we've now been for 20 years in our current 3 or previously 3 locations. It was about time that we backed up our talk about being an ambitious, forward-looking, successful firm, backing it up with actions. I think demonstrating both the colleagues, clients and the market that we're moving in the right direction, and demonstrating that by opening up a new office in Leeds was really important. And you know, we're really keen that we're a good corporate citizen, that we're an engaged member of the professional community in Leeds and in Yorkshire. It's not about Brabners sort of conquering. It's very much about Brabners building a local team around like-minded kindred spirits for whom Leeds and Yorkshire is their market. And it's for us to come alongside them and support them, but it's sort of noses in but hands off. It's not about Brabners coming in, planting a flag and saying Brabners is here, we're going to make good stuff happen. It's about, you know, finding like-minded people and building around them, really.
Yeah, there's so much opportunity in the Yorkshire market as well. So
I think particularly for a firm like us, actually. So yes, like Manchester in particular, on the face of it, a fiercely competitive landscape within legal, which is great. It's a thriving sector. But actually, if you drill down, a lot of the increased competition in both cities actually is more at the sort of national, international level. I think for the sort of, you know, mid-market independent firms that perhaps more naturally, but not solely, focus on SME, owner-managed business clients, I think there's lots of opportunity. I think that segment of the market's relatively underserved. And I always work on the premise that clients, given a choice, would much rather deal with local professionals if they can. And I think Yorkshire represents a huge opportunity for us.
yeah, no, it does. Exciting times. It'll be interesting to see how that develops over the next 12 months. At Realm, our vision is for all lawyers to be matched with the right law firms. What do you look for in a lawyer when recruiting for Brabners?
So we want to see drive and ambition, but equally as importantly, the personality fit is crucial. So we like team players. We don't like ego or arrogance. Someone with humility in spades would be good. And it's really about matching the sort of skills, attributes, personality, character with our culture and the values that we aspire to hold ourselves accountable by. So the personality fit's really important.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I think you can easily unravel an existing team by bringing in the wrong person.
Yeah, and actually sometimes good recruitment, it's about resisting temptation and deciding not to recruit. So, you know, particularly resisting temptation to succumb to a prospective following or guarantees. But the reality is we're not for everyone. I think we're a good fit for many good lawyers out there. It's important you're not hoodwinked by making a bad decision that's just driven by numbers and the pound signs and potential clients that will follow. If the personality fit's not right, it's unlikely to ever really work. And as you say, you also risk damaging what you've got already. So that's something we're quite protective about.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. Last question. Tell us something we wouldn't already know about Brabners.
I'll be greedy and tell you 3 things, if that's all right.
That's fine.
So I do talk about, and I try and portray the firm as being a modern, progressive, ambitious, forward-facing firm, but we actually trace our roots back over 200 years, and we are proud of our heritage. The second thing I tell you is that based on the latest annual Best Companies rankings, so the top 100 lists that previously were published by the Sunday Times, we were ranked the 4th best law firm to work for in the UK and the 24th best large company to work for, which we're really proud of.
Yeah.
And then the final thing, a nod to our Brabners bog. So back to sort of B-Corp and sustainability being innovative. One of our current initiatives, which we're quite proud of, is we've funded, or we are funding a peatland restoration project at a 1,500 acre site, which has international significance in the Yorkshire Dales at the Kingsdale Head Farm. So we provided the lead funding, which unlocked public sector funding to restore some peatland. I know it's a little bit random in the eyes of some for a law firm to spend money on that, but I think that's a good example of the sort of thing we do. Back to our independence and the fact that we can choose to invest in things that we want to, that float our boat. It might seem left field to some, but for us that's a good example of maybe Brabners being a bit different. And yeah, we're quite proud of our Brabners bog, as we call it internally. An alternative to planting trees, anyway.
I think it's things like that that make you stand out, like you say, in a crowded market.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other law firms that are, investing in things like that.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's back to offices. As I've said before, we did give a proper brief to the company that did the design and fit out of our offices, and it's not just Barbara Oley. We've obviously entered the Leeds market. We moved our office previously that was in Preston out to a central location in Lancashire. We're about to embark on a refurb of our headquarter office in Liverpool. So in our opinion, I think offices and the quality and nature of office space is as important as it ever has been. We've invested a lot in our offices since COVID, and I know in the eyes of some that might seem counterintuitive with the move to sort of remote agile working, but in our opinion, it's the opposite. I think offices are just as important as they ever were, but they serve a different purpose. So we've invested in our offices really to facilitate working differently. So if I compare the offices as they now are than as they were pre-COVID, there's far more space set aside for client-facing activity and engagement, for guests who might wish to come and use our offices, and to facilitate collaborative cross-office working, agile, flexible working. So there's far less focus around fixed workspaces. And I also think offices, they're a demonstration, a very physical, tangible demonstration of what the firm's about. And when I talk about Brabners being a modern, progressive law firm, I think the offices need to back that up. So we're happy now that our offices better reflect what we're about. So I think it was a worthwhile investment. And then I guess a final point to make, obviously it's a very topical debate about trying to continue to encourage colleagues to come back in. So we haven't, and we never would mandate anyone to come back any particular amount or set days of each week. We've allowed teams to just evolve and land on what works best for them. But I see it as our challenge to give colleagues a positive reason to want to come in, rather than coming in because they feel obliged to. So I think it's the right thing to do.